off with a little, Bruce, we got a email from Frank on behalf of Wein and Frank, and this really said, Dear Bruce, we are so sorry we are unable to join your well-deserved tribute or roast in person, but we want to say a few words about your significant contribution to the evolution of the firm. When you joined, we were Piper Rudnick, the Rodney Dangerfield of large law firms. Somehow we convinced you, Bruce Barry, and the rest of Gordon Altman to suspend disbelief and join the adventure. Boy, was that important for a number of reasons. First, you are a world-class lawyer, thoughtful, creative, and solution-oriented. Second, you brought marquee relationships, including your old friend Carl Icahn, to the firm. Third, you were a good guy and a good partner. I guess he didn't know you that well.
That's right. We wrote this 20 years ago.
On our frequent visits to New York, we always made it a point to see you and to find out what was going on and to brighten our day. Because you always had a twinkle in your eyes and a wry smile and some good news to share. That made our job easier and our lives better. All of this benefited the firm as a whole in countless ways, some obvious and some not. We'll not forget the dinner at the Cosmos Club where we all gave the recruitment of Verna Lippert and Senator Mitchell our best shot. You and Ted were integral to that successful effort, and that was one of the most important developments in the early history of the firm. But the most important contribution was what happened day in and day out, as many others modeled your behavior as a lawyer and a colleague on what they saw in you. It's hard to put a price on that. It doesn't show up in any of the familiar law firm metrics, but it was and is essential to the building of a firm that is not only financially strong, but strong in the right values. Congratulations, Bruce. You deserve a place in the sun, and we are grateful for the years we toiled in the vineyard together. Best, Lee and Frank. So let me, now I'm going to say a few words of my own.
You can't read, though.
Okay. Well, I wrote it, so I'll read it. Okay, so.
Can I be excused?
There's no excuse, Bruce. There's no excuse.
All right, so most of you know me, but I'm Jonathan Klein, and with the exception of Bruce's family and Ellis Reamer, who's here somewhere, I believe I'm the person in the room who knows Bruce the longest. And also with the exception of Ellis, I am the person who has worked with Bruce the longest here. Although working with him has its own history, and frankly, for most of my career, I think I worked for him. So, going back to 1986, I was a summer associate at the firm that was then known as Gordon, Hurwitz, Butowski, Weitz, and Shalov, and Wein. Yes, I was a summer associate, and Bruce was a named partner. If you had told me 35 years ago that I would be making a toast at Bruce's retirement party, I would have certainly said you were crazy. But here we are, Bruce, 35 years later, 2 firms, but 7 names later. And for the record, those names were Gordon Hurwitz, Butowski, Weitz, and Shalov, and Wein. Gordon Altman, Butowski, Weitz, and Shalov, and Wein. And a call out to our good friend Ted Altman, who is also retiring but couldn't be here today. Gordon Altman, Weitz, and Shalov, and Wein. Piper, Marbury, Rudnick, and Wolf. Piper Rudnick. DLA Piper Rudnick, Gray Carey, and DLA Piper. But that's only 2 firms. When I started at Gordon Altman, Bruce was the head of the tax group and effectively the managing partner of the firm. And to a kid fresh out of law school, he was scary. My office was nearby his, and I would see frightened tax associates leaving his office. Some of you can probably get that. In those days, I figured my job was not to do anything that would get Bruce even to notice me. After those first 2 years, though, I did get to really know Bruce as an amazingly talented tax lawyer and strategic thinker that he is, as well as a true mentor, colleague, partner, and friend that he has become. to this day, I say to corporate associates something that Bruce drilled into me from the beginning. Bring in the tax lawyers really early. And I do that as much as I can. It will be truly strange to think that on January 1st, 2022, will be the first time in my legal career that Bruce won't be my colleague. So going back a little bit, it's year 2000 and a group of us from Gordon Altman decided to join Piper Rudnick. It was a big change for us going from a firm of 75 lawyers at its largest to a firm of 1,000 lawyers. I was a young partner, and to me it was scary. I seem to be scared of that here. But I remember Bruce as being the rock that kept things moving and turning that move into such a great success for our group, which by the way included Ted, Ellis, Marjorie Adams, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, Diana Erbsen and me, amongst others who are not here anymore. Bruce approached that move as if he was the father of a family. And of course, having a brother like Barry Shalove couldn't have been easy.
That's an understatement.
Get some laughs in there. And throughout the years together here at DLA, we would still reminisce about our Gordon Altman family and with incredible love and fondness. And the Bruce family was and has always been the guiding focus of his life. We are so happy that his beautiful wife Penny and his son Michael are here. I think that's the only kid we got.
Our son-in-law Ethan.
Our son-in-law Ethan are here. Guys, you know this, but his love for you and his grandchildren is what has driven Bruce throughout his career. I know how much love and pride he has for all of you. Bruce, on a personal note, I just want to thank you for playing such a pivotal role in my career and my life. Although you were a named partner and I was a junior associate, over the years, you have treated me as a peer, colleague, and true friend. I will very much miss being your colleague and wish you much fun, happiness, and love in your well-deserved retirement. And here's to Bruce.
Thank you.
Ellis.
Thank you. So, in Jerry's direction, or order, I'm going to keep it short, but everything that John said, I second it. That was a lot, very well said. So, I've known Bruce, or I've either worked for Bruce or with Bruce my entire professional career, with the exception of 4 years with the Irish Chief Counsel's Office. So, and so through those years, we worked together, we were colleagues, we became friends, and Bruce played a pivotal role in my career, and I'm very grateful for that. As John said, Bruce is a brilliant tax lawyer, creative, aggressive. We've had many battles over the years about whether some structure or to worked or not, but Bruce always added value to any matter he ever was brought into. He had a good idea or thoughts about things that were outside his area of expertise, so that I always look forward to talking to him about matters. So I just wanted to reminisce a little bit about some of the early days, or about one of the early days, about my time with Bruce. So Bruce hired me out of the IRS Chief Counsel's Office, and I remember my first day quite well. Okay, my first day at our office is at 299 Park Avenue. I showed up at the office at 9 o'clock, and the receptionist told me that Bruce will be here shortly. And I sat down, and within a few minutes, Bruce arrived. And he ushered me down to his office, and we sat down at these orange side chairs, okay, with a white circular table. Now, those chairs have survived until very recently.
They're still in
survived. They're now maroon, I believe, right?
No, it went from orange to brown, and now they're in Joseph's house.
Okay. Well, those chairs have seen many associates and partners, and they discussed many deals over many years. So we sat down and we talked at that circular table, and Bruce offered me a piece of his donut, glazed donut with chocolate icing. And I said, no, thank you. And as I was leaving or about to go to my office, which at that time, my office was next to the photocopy machine in the law firm, so that the person who was in charge of the photocopies
Footnote.
had to reach over me. Henry had to reach over me to get paper. Okay? It took me several months to get an office. Okay? But in any event, on that day, he said to me, there's an assignment I want you to start looking at. It involves section 108 of the Internal Revenue Code. And he said it wasn't urgent, and that we will talk about it periodically over the months, whatever it was. But you know what happens? Work comes along, crises arise, priorities arrive. So here I stand on the eve of Bruce's retirement, and I haven't done that since. So I hope to get it done by the end of the year. In any event, so I want to echo what John said. You have played an enormous role in many, many people who worked for you and with you, and I can speak for everyone about how grateful they are. And I wish you and Penny and your family a wonderful, healthy retirement.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap up. When I got to DLA Piper, I apparently had a kinder, gentler Bruce. Because I never saw any of the fear that other associates expressed to me in dealing with him. I think he did great. He's been a great partner, smart. I've been a partner at several firms, and Bruce clearly is the go-to guy when you have a tough issue and you want to sort of think it through. Jonathan edited out the fact that Birch also gave Bruce credit for helping bring in Senator Mitchell. And I know he was also instrumental in bringing in one of our superstars over here.
What's his name?
The guy in the jeans.
Everyone, that's Phil Rogers.
I think I know most of the people.
And I'm just, I still have Bruce's cell number. I'm sad that he's retiring, and although I do take some joy in now being the smartest guy at the firm.
My turn?
Yeah.
Thank God.
Can I say something before?
Oh, certainly. I'm sorry. I thought he was wrapping up, so.
Yeah, so I'll take just 1 minute. So Bruce and David Bass hired me at the farm 30 years ago? Okay, maybe 13 years ago. And I didn't want to speak because I get emotional. But Bruce taught me pretty much everything I know. Most important was, Frank, you have to think for yourself. And when you articulate your position, don't let me push you around, okay? And Bruce meant it because, over the years, we've worked together on so many matters, always, going at each other, but at the end of the day, I always knew, okay, I was learning from him. It was important to Bruce. He treated me like his son. In fact, he would say at the end of that back and forth is like, my son, you've done well, okay? And, early on, we all make mistakes. Bruce never told a corporate partner, oh, this associate messed up. He always found a way to cover you, and then separately, make sure you don't repeat, which is important, I remember when I started here, we had the Adelphi engagement. That was, the largest matter that, I'd ever worked on.
Is that finally over?
It's gonna end soon, but I remember Sia's first year, and we're going into these meetings with creditors committees, and the only black guy there, really young and all, and Bruce made sure that everybody in the room, treated me as a colleague of his, okay, and when in these meetings folks, spoke, he always made sure to ask me, Frank, do you have anything to say? Gave me all the confidence, to go into those types of forums, and just hold my own. So, any Empress, your contribution to my career is invaluable, and thank you so much, and I wish you all the best in your retirement.
Well, I'm not part of neither the tax department nor the legacy of 17 different firms with different names. I was wondering that I had served under many names, but I see that where I did much better, it was shorter. Whitman Ransom, Whitman Breed, what else? Winston and DLA. No, went.
Dewey.
So it's getting long too.
You want to skip over Dewey, I get it.
Yeah. Frankly, I'm so impressed with this evening, and what a beautiful legacy. I think by the end of the day, in life, when we reach a certain stage, you really start thinking about what legacy you leave behind, what reputation, what people think about you. And really, I'm so proud that I'm here tonight as your partner, not from your department, but as your partner, but we have...
You try to...
Yeah, that's why I'm coming, but yet we worked on a few matters. We enjoyed each other's smile and company, and
Absolutely.
and really it was a pleasure knowing you. And I congratulate you and your family for such a beautiful legacy, because this is what counts. Otherwise, we would have lost our time. Good luck, and let me know in a couple of years how does it feel. And give me the address, maybe I can follow up. Okay.
So I'm going to make this short. I don't have a prepared speech, but I just want to follow up, not with respect to everybody. Well, a couple of things. Was it Jerry that referenced the recruiting? Was it yeah. Oh, John.
I think it was Frank and Lee.
Yeah, okay. So, stand up, Phil. There you go. This is the big shot that he was referring to. Okay, okay. All right, you can sit down.
Stay down.
That's okay. So, I think it was like 2005. 2005?
Yeah, 2006.
I get a,
Put this down.
Closer, closer.
okay. I get a call from somebody I never heard of, Phil Rogers. Pick up the phone. Bruce, I'd like to come and meet. Okay, so he comes over to me. Comes over in this nice gray suit. Bounces over and he says, I'd like to, I'm with such and such accounting firm. I've sort of reached the glass ceiling there, and I want to move on. And he took out a list of like 30 household name companies. And he said, I don't know which ones are gonna do which stuff each year, but there'll be X dollars from these 30 companies every year. I look at it, I say, okay, well, that's really great, thank you very much. And I escort him to the door. Go back to my office, ignore it, just put the paper away. He doesn't wait 2 days. The next morning, I get a call from him. Bruce, it's Phil, can I come over again? Back and forth, this went on for 2 or 3 days. He comes over in the same gray suit.
Was your only suit?
That's my one.
The only one you had?
The only thing that was different, about the meetings is that the names would change. So it's almost like 3-card Monte. I wasn't quite sure what I was looking at. Finally, I decided this guy is for real, and I sent him up to upstairs for appropriate dispensation. And he's been with us, and it's something I've been very proud of.
And now he's hit the stratosphere.
Thank you.
Anyway, but in terms of some of the,
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about legacy firms, but
yeah.
there were like 6 or 7 partners that came over from our other firm back in 2020.
2000.
2000, right. Sorry, 2000.
Otherwise it would.
That's right. And to this day, excuse me, as of now, I'm still not retired yet, okay? Every single one of those partners is still with the firm, with the exception of 2 that went with clients.
I'm Barry.
No, he went with a client, right? So 2 went with the clients, everybody else is still here, which, you see who comes and goes, right? That's probably unheard of, okay? Or pretty much unheard of in this time span. which I think says, I know we did a great job, it says an awful lot about the firm. That in and of itself says a lot, and I would use it in recruiting all the time. It was easy currency. And just let me pick on Frank a little bit. Frank knows I love him, and he's been a great partner, and he's been a great achiever, and he's done terrific. Absolutely great. And he said that he learned so much. And the thing that really convinced me as to how much he learned was when his kids were in the office. He has a son and a daughter, cutest kids you can imagine. And he brought them in to say hello. And in my drawer, I would keep these little toys, these like little cars and stuff, for kids to play with. So I took them out and I showed to the son, and I said to the son, would you like, I had like in each hand, I said, would you like a car? He said, oh, sure, and he takes it, okay. And then the daughter, I said, would you like a car? She says, yeah, and she grabbed both cars and left. So then I knew I had done my job with Frank. And with Ellis, well, you know, I say this, he hates the story, but it's mostly true. It's a bit of a caricature. He was out of the government, and he litigated for the government. And as far as he was concerned, nothing worked. Yes, home mortgage interest worked. Inappropriate off years, okay? And that was about it, okay? I put him in a computer leasing deal with a non-recourse note and blah, 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 blah. He said, what is this? What is this? This can't be. What is this depreciation business? That can't be. And this went on and on for days and days and days. Anyway, he turned around. He became a great, he was always a great litigator, but he created a great tax shelter litigator. And he's like, you know, now everything works, okay? Nothing doesn't work with him, okay? And he's been terrific, and thank you, Ellis, okay? Thank you all for coming. I appreciate your kind words, much too kind. And look forward to catching up with you from time to time.